Jump in and say good morning. Welcome to Unity South Central's Business Mastermind for December of 2026. So I've been thinking about this for the last couple of days because we're late in the year to be talking about how you're going to plan next year. I'm thinking most of you have probably planned next year or have some idea where you're going. But what I am aware of as we look at the next year forward is that in the process of doing that work, we are not necessarily planning how we're going to take care of ourselves while we do all the really cool and wonderful things that we're going to do next year. So some of us have really good self-care practices and some of us don't. And a lot of us are finding that our self-care practices kind of slide off the table when we're in a time of kind of intense living, which we are as a world right now. So self-care, it kind of has an interesting way of moving off the plate. And I want to spend a little time talking about planning into that space, because our ability to hold ourselves solid and centered right now is incredibly important. People are relying on us to anchor to. Every Sunday they want to come in and feel that kind of centered, balanced, it's going to be okay presence. And it takes more self-care to make that happen. So let's jump in.
Can I ask, are we on for an hour or an hour and a half?
1 hour.
Okay, thank you.
1 hour exactly, or sometimes even a little less depending upon what comes up after we're done. So we're going to master self-care. That is a different thing than just engaging in self-care. I want to invite you into the concept that self-care is a spiritual practice, and that we've done other spiritual practices. We have some level of mastery with our meditation and some level of mastery with our prayer and some level of mastery in the way we interact with others. But this particular field is one that is worthy of the effort to master. And the effort to master, if you've ever really worked on mastery, it comes in very small little increments. It isn't something that happens in big bites. It's something that happens in small small nibbles all through the day, right? So we know that the care for others is sacred, and we know that we're going into a new year. I just realized my battery is not plugged in. I better do that. Otherwise, I'm going to lose you guys. There you go. Okay. This year is an interesting year as a side note. One of the areas of study that is really valuable in my personal practice is numerology. I love numerology. And numerology, there are lots of interesting things about it as a science. The most powerful thing about it as a science is that people use it so it has a place in mass consciousness because people use it. And that's the energy I'm inviting you into. It isn't whether you think numerology is any more important than astrology or any other kind of tool, but simply to understand that we give association to numbers and that numbers have value and energy because we make it so by the way that we do things. So we are ending 2025 is a 9-year. It is the end of not only is it a 9-year, but it's the end of a 9-year cycle, which goes all the way back to 2016. So this year has been a lot of kind of cumulative opportunities to look at what we learned between 2016 and now, and to begin to release that stuff. Because 2026 is a 1-year, and we are moving into the beginning of the next 9-year cycle. So Just to consider how much has happened in your life between now and backwards to 2016, and then to look forward 9 years and think, what I start right now is really setting a pattern for a long period of time. So as you think about mastering self-care, I want you to think about the next 9 years of your life. How will the quality of your life be improved if you really think into, feel into, live into, and presence yourself into this new year as beginning a pattern toward mastery of self-care that changes what happens for you over the next 9-year period? And that means not retreating from service, but living it differently, resourcing yourself differently, stepping into this new time with a different awareness of how you sit in the picture rather than how you create and care for the vision. Because you are integrated into what it is you're doing. And even if you think about that and you say, well, 9 years from now, Ariana, I will not be in ministry. Fabulous. What will you be doing? And how healthy and well and balanced and centered do you want to be when you get there? This is the time to start. And there is starting energy. The starting energy of a new year is always big anyway, because across the planet, everybody's in the energy. We are in the consciousness of a new start. This particular new start has even more impact. So I just invite you to hold that energy and to allow it to be so, whether numerology is your thing or not, just to understand its impact in the mass consciousness. There is a quiet cost to the way we are available. And as I imaged this presentation, I chose flowers because flowers have a way of improving our life, increasing the beauty around us, and they're so beautiful that they pull us into conversation with them. Oh my gosh, these are so pretty. Oh wow, I have to smell that. Conversation doesn't necessarily have to be in words, but we get pulled into relationship with flowers. I want you to think of yourself and your life that way. Your life is a beautiful presence in your day-to-day routine, your personal experience, what this feels like to be alive inside of you, not just to witness your life through your eyes, which have you ever noticed how we do that? Like we see our life unfolding in front of us, but we don't feel ourselves settled in. So I want you to think about your own life in the same way that you are drawn to experience a flower, that you will be called into the blossom, to smell its fragrance, sometimes to feel the softness of its petals, to just sit and look at the way it's unfolded. I invite you to take your life into that flowering, blossoming awareness inside. Because ministry trains us to be reachable and responsive. That's our job, is to be reachable and responsive. And over time, what I've written here is over time, availability can become erosion. I want you to think about how soil erodes. Soil sometimes washes out because you've had a flood, but a lot of times erosion happens on the side of a hill because there's a steady little bit of rain that comes every couple of days, over a week, over a month, over a year, and pretty soon the plants that are there are down to their roots. That's what I want you to consider. Are you down to your roots? Are you having to pull your strength down to all the way down to the roots of who you are, because there isn't a lot of soil for you to be nourished by. You're busy nourishing everything else. Everything is kind of feeding off of you. The plants, the animals, the whatever, everything is kind of feeding from you rather than you creating soil. When we think about caring for for the plant life around us, we feed it. We actually make points of feeding and making sure there is enough soil over the roots as something grows. Because this is the other thing, guys. In ministry, we're growing. And we can outgrow the pot. We can outgrow the soil and outgrow the pot and have exposed roots. You are growing and becoming and presencing in a different way now than you did when you started your ministry. So the very first piece I want to invite you into as you plan your year is to go into your calendar, and on your calendar for every day, put in something that says, how about me? You can put anything you want in there. You can just put me. You can put flowers and know that that is all about you, depending upon who has access to your calendar. But I want to invite you into, each time you look at your calendar, seeing something that reminds you to check in on yourself and to ask yourself, are there energy leaks in my life? What is drawing energy from me every day that I'm not fixing because it's small enough that I don't have to dig into it? It's not as important as everything else. And it's surprising what that can be. That can be a bedspread that slides every night, right? And you get into bed.
I know I have that.
Right? And it's so irritating, isn't it?
Oh, irritating.
It affects your sleep. It affects everything. It can be a flickering light in your refrigerator that sometimes is on and sometimes is off. But it takes your energy to notice it, to feel that little that comes, and then to walk away without it resolved. So I want you to look at your life, especially at work, and notice, what are the daily energy leaks? Here's one that can be a really important one. When you come into your office, if you have an administrator, do you need to check in and talk through things with your administrator before you get to put your bags down? Or do you have an arrangement with your minister that when I come in, I want to say good morning, and then I want 15 minutes to go in my office, set up my computer, put my stuff away, get myself settled, and then I'm ready for anything that you might need from me. Then we can do a check-in on my schedule, anything. But we all have found ourselves walking in, having to walk past the administrator and having somebody say, hey, can I ask you something really quick? And so for 25 minutes, we're standing with a backpack on our back, our purse over our shoulder, and our lunch bag in our hand, trying to already handle whatever is up. That just few minutes of setting things down, getting settled, and having a minute to intentionally start your day. I'm moving into this space. I'm opening my heart into this space. I'm welcoming the integration of oneness into who I am and the work that I do. Whatever your daily process is, to have a conversation with your admin that gives you that break is important. It takes energy to settle yourself. It takes time and presence to settle yourself. So notice where you override your own needs. Notice the places where you have a need and instead of taking care of it, you stop what you're doing. And for me, one of them is people walking in on Sunday morning, actually opening my office door and walking in and saying, I know you're busy, but this is a big pet peeve of mine. It took me 13 years to learn to lock the door. I just close the door and turn the lock. Now nobody can walk in unless I say so. I could have easily put a sign on the door that said, prepping for service, please don't disturb. But that is a need of mine. That place on Sunday morning of being settled and having time for myself before I walk out is a need of mine. What are your needs? And where do you override them so that you can meet someone else's needs? this whole piece is about awareness, isn't it? It's about being aware of your state of being and making it a priority so that as you go into this work, you're ready. So it's a stewardship because and not indulgence, because, and we learned this in seminary, but I'm going to say it again, that the better self-care you practice, the better ministry you will provide. Because self-care invites you to compassion rather than resentment. It invites you into an awareness of working devotionally. This is my service to the oneness. This is my way of being in service to the divine. This is my expression of gratitude. And when we sit in our yes, I am here. Yes, this is what I want to do. Yes, this matters. That's very different than when we sit in reaction. When we walk into our office each day, ready to react to whatever comes, ready even to respond to whatever comes, rather than being in a sincere yes and holding presence. Something may happen in that field of presence or something may not. But I will hold a particular frequency of presence that makes me available to whatever walks in the door. If you are practicing self-care, the energy that you share with people will be clean rather than distorted by resentment, discomfort, some other thing that you've got going on that's in the way, all of that. So you have to have some daily non-negotiables. You have to have some things that nobody gets to impact. One is that quiet start at the beginning of your day. 5 minutes may be all you need. I like 15. You may need 5. You may need 30. Maybe you want to come in and check your calendar and do a quick run through your email before you handle anything else. That needs to be communicated with your staff. The other part of your day is the end of the day. How do you end your day? Do you work right up until the last minute and now you're late coming home and you're grabbing your stuff and running out the door? Do you, because trust me, there will never, ever, 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 ever be a day when you say, gee, I don't know. There's nothing left on my desk. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. It will not happen. So, how do you want to end your day? What do you want to have happen? Maybe you have an exit prayer that allows you to leave in your office anything that belongs to the church so that you can move out into your life, letting ministry be your job rather than Reverend being your first name. Right? Sometimes we need to walk out of the office and be Trish, be Ann, be Brenda, be Lisa, just be who we are. What is your process for stepping out of ministry? For a lot of people who are clergy, it's the removal of the collar, but we don't wear a collar. So what is it that you do at the end of the day that tells your whole nervous system, I'm complete with this day? One of the things that I did for a long time was kept a rose water spray on my desk. And it was the last thing. Anything that I picked up today, I'm removing. And I would just mist over my head. Then that got to be cold because I live in Colorado and it's chilly here. So it just depends on how warm you keep your office. Having a string of prayer beads that come off when you're done. Something that you take off. It can be in the process of pulling your life together and if you're taking a laptop home, refilling a backpack, but only if you can do that as completion. I'm closing this computer and I am done for the day. I place it here where it's well cared for and I now move into my own life. These words, you can say them for a while because when you say some kind of words like that, you develop a new neural pathway. when you actually think into those words, I am ending my ministry day and moving into my personal time, you begin to train your brain to expect that. And instead of moving when you get home towards what else do I have to do, you can train your brain, build a new neural pathway that allows you to move into personal time. It can be one intentional breath. The inhale is always important. I was teaching about that this weekend, that the inhale is important, right? The inhale, we all know, is the inspiration, the bringing in of the divine. But what happens on the exhale is making space. We collapse our lungs, we bring that air out, we release, and we make space for the next inspiration. So when we intentionally exhale, we make space to move into something new. Deep breath in and exhale. So give a little time to the exhales in your life. We tend to do them when we're like, I'm exhausted. How are you? Whew. Right? How I am is, so using that exhale intentionally to end what you've been through for the day and release and move into personal space is really valuable. A non-negotiable for your life has to be at least one nourishing meal a day. And if you can get 2 in, that's great. But one that you feel really good about eating, that is not rushed, and that you actually slow down and taste your food, that you actually enjoy the gift of nourishment that your body is taking. That's a different thing. You might eat 3 meals a day while you're reading your email, while you're writing your next sermon, while you're reading the book that is inspiring your book club, whatever it is. One nourishing meal that you slow down to be with and to actually speak to your body about taking in this nourishment and becoming stronger. Becoming healthy, becoming stronger, taking in all of the energy that is necessary for this vessel. And doing that with gratitude, that one time a day will really make a difference in your body, in how you feel in here. And one moment of movement. When I can't get a moment of movement, I walk 3 times down the hallway at the church because it's a long hallway. And I will make myself just walk to the back door and to the front and to the back door and to the front and to the back door and to the front, because that may be all I have time for. But it tells my body I care, right? And we all have those, we've all heard, set an alarm, get up every 15 minutes, all of that stuff. That is not practical in ministry, because too much of what we do is interactive. Too many times we're sitting through 3 meetings with different members of the community for different things, and trying to get up in between doesn't always happen. But a moment of intentional movement in the day matters. And these are they're the scaffolding of a good life. These, eating something, having a quiet start to your day, getting some hydration before you drink your coffee, these are the scaffolding upon which you weave a good ministerial life, but more importantly, upon which you build a good life for yourself. Because as much as our mind is devoted to the work that we do and the community that we serve all the time, this is still a job. It is still your job, and who you are as an individual. Truly, truly, your mom gave you a first name and it was not Reverend. And coming back to that person and the needs of that person and valuing and trusting and caring for that person is as important, if not more important, than what you do in your place of employment. Energy hygiene matters. As you consciously enter your role each day, energy hygiene means you have brought a clean body, you have brought a clear mind, you have brought an open heart, you are settled in the pelvic bowl of of your body so that your gut is awake, because that gut intuition matters. And you have removed what does not belong in the space that you're in. That again can be part of your entry into your office, or your departure from your car if it works better there. But to consciously enter your role every day is a really important plan for next year. How would it be if every day that you bring yourself to your ministry, you did so energetically clear? How would that shift the work that you do, and how would it shift what the end of the day feels like for you? Know what is yours and what is not at the end of the day. I just had a conversation with someone, a church that I'm consulting with, that's having a music director problem. Imagine that. And so, interestingly, despite the fact that I can give advice on that, this issue is not mine. It does not belong to me. It belongs to that community and the way they work. And they have some adjustments to make. I can advise into it, but it is not my work to call the music director to get engaged to. That is not my work. It's interesting to feel inside of me the desire to step in and help, and to remember what is mine to do and what is not mine to do. What is yours to do? Naming what belongs to you and what doesn't is important. So I am a keeper of temples. When I hold sacred space, I want the building to be clean. It's important to me that if someone comes in to pray, that they don't walk in and notice that the trash can didn't get emptied on Sunday, or that the countertops in the lobby are messy, or somebody left their coffee cup somewhere and it didn't get put away. It's just a personal thing for me that matters. To keep the energy of the temple clear means to keep it clean and neat, so that people never have to think about that when they walk into the temple. They walk into the sanctuary or into the building, and it always feels welcoming, warm, and ready for them. So what is bad about that is I can make that my personal job. I can find myself walking through and cleaning up dishes and unloading the dishwasher because that didn't get done, and all of those things that we end up doing. But if you have someone who does that and they're not doing it, your job is to get them to do it, to let it go and do what is yours to do. One of the most exhausting things about ministers is that we are chief cook and bottle washer. Whatever didn't get done we end up picking up pieces and doing things and caring for this place like it's our personal home, rather than inviting the people that we work with to take better care of what belongs to them. And that's exhausting, and that's an energy leak. And it's also not good management. And it doesn't teach your community spiritual care of their sacred space, which is a beautiful and important and powerful practice for everyone in your building to notice if something is out of place and make sure that it's put back. It's a beautiful, caring practice that builds a certain type of energy in your building, because everyone is engaged in it. So just notice if you're stepping out of your role to do everybody's everything, rather than clearly saying, that's not mine and I need to address that it needs doing. Being able to go to bed at night and clear our minds is a practice. I have lost many, many, many nights of sleep, at least a few hours of many, many, many nights of sleep, because something is rolling around in my head and I can't quite clear it. What will work to clear it? Can you create for yourself a recorded meditation that you listen to that says all the right words for letting go of the day? I release now into the heart of the holy any worries that I have about the well-being of my community, knowing that healing and wholeness is already in action and that I can rest and be at peace. Can you put that prayer on a piece of paper on your nightstand and read it? Can you record it so you can hear it? Is there a meditation that you love? Something that you can put your earbuds in for 10 minutes that will do that work for you, so that you actually consciously work on your sleep pattern. Because not having a good sleep pattern will wreck your day. And it will take your compassion, and it will move you towards resentment, and it will cause you to be susceptible when you're hugging all 100 people that walk out of your congregation, your sanctuary. It will cause you to be more susceptible to who's got a cold that they don't even know they have yet. That not getting enough sleep is a really important piece. So just think about your spiritual hygiene and how you care for yourself and what that feels like. Boundaries that bless are boundaries that serve. So they are a generous way of making sure you're always ready. The hardest boundary, I think, for many of us to keep is whatever is our day off. To actually say to a board member or to boards during training, please do not email me on Monday because you're afraid you'll forget. Don't email me. Write it down and email me on Tuesday. Please do not call me and leave a message on Monday because it's my day off. And when the phone rings, even though I may choose not to answer it, I look at it in case it's my kids or somebody else. And the presence of church has taken me from that space to, oh, gee, I wonder if my board member's already is all right. I wonder what's up. Why are they calling me on Monday? Even if I choose not to answer it, there is a response in my nervous system. So to ask for that boundary, to insist upon that boundary, to hold that boundary is important to mastering self-care. To gift yourself with that will make you, I'm not going to say it will make you a better minister. It will allow you to be the minister you want to be, which is really important to protect your time, your body, and your attention, and give space for emptying and release. So one of the pieces of work that I love to do is to work with ministers who are going into sabbatical. Because what happens in sabbatical for ministers is they decide, oh, I'm going to travel here and I'm going to do this thing and I've got a few paid months and I'm gonna, and I haven't been able to and I can't wait to. And what they've been doing for 5 to 10 years, depending upon how long that period of time is before you get a sabbatical, is filling up. We're reading, we're studying, we're learning a new thing, we're bringing something new, we're changing the topic, we're reading, we're studying, we're learning a new thing, we're speaking into a new topic. We are filling ourselves, always filling everything. I mean, I was with Brenda. I can't remember where we were, but there was something that happened and she said, oh yeah, that'll preach. And I thought, that is exactly right. In the grocery store, a conversation that you overhear, in the restaurant and the way you're served, everywhere you are, you're thinking, what is the divine message I can bring forward to my community? To empty is a really important practice because, like anything else, this body gets full. It gets full of information. Our brain gets heavy. Our energy gets heavy. We're holding. And so to have an emptying practice means holding a boundary, means having a day that you don't think about church. You don't think about the community. Means having a day that you exhale a lot. Means having a day that you journal and download. I am releasing this. I'm releasing my pent-up frustration about the disagreement I had with a volunteer last week. This is how I've been feeling. I'm willfully and intentionally taking a breath in and releasing that. That kind of work on your day off is your day off is not about filling. It's about releasing and emptying and making space for you. This is going to reduce burnout for you. And burnout sucks. If any of you have actually ever been to the place of real burnout, where you don't want to get up out of bed in the morning and none of the clothes in your closet feel right and your car doesn't work right, and there are 72, you can find 72 good reasons not to go do what you do. Burnout is hard to come back from. Mastering self-care is a really important process to removing burnout, because what happens for ministers that burn out is they leave their church, often they leave ministry, and then they flounder because they don't know how to come back from it, because the battery is so uncharged that there's no amount of plugging it in is working. And most people who suffer from true burnout take 2 to 3 years to recover. So this is not a light, easy subject. This is a really serious risk of this job. And this mastering daily self-care in the small steps can keep you from ever having to deal with that. It also allows you to model integrity for your community, that they get to have boundaries too, and they can learn it from you. Ministry lives in your nervous system. It lives in your nervous system. To be responsive, we have to be able to have someone walk in and say, my daughter was just killed in a car accident, and we have to have enough mastery of our body to not have shock, and that kind of shock that stops us from having anything to say or any ability to think into the next step. Do I hold this person? Do I say, please come in and sit down? Do I say, sit and would you like some water? Do I say, take a breath? Do I nod my head and move someone in and say nothing and give them space to say what they need to say or feel what they need to feel? That is all mastery of the nervous system, especially if you have a daughter of your own, because it just went straight to your mother heart. Your mother heart just took a big hit, and you still have to be present. This ministry lives in the cells of your body, in your nervous system, in the way you move your body, because you have to learn how to hold your body in the moments that something hits you in a way that you relate to. That means that you have to pay attention to your nervous system and your body, because you're holding all of that. So getting outside in fresh air, you can walk if you want to. If you don't want to, get 5 minutes of sunshine on your face. Get 5 minutes out of the building. 30 if you can do it. Have water, because your nervous system gets hit, and if caffeine is all that's in there, your nervous system is going to ramp up. You can still have your coffee, but get a little water in, get the system moving. Something that will dilute the caffeine impact. Stretch and move if you can between meetings, because you don't know what's coming in. And your body needs to be strong. And remember that your body is engaged in your calling. It's not just your spirit and your mind and your heart, but truly the presence of your body holds an energy for people when they see you. Because of the energy that you hold, they feel better. I walked in and you were there. I saw you in the hallway. It made me smile. I feel good. Thank you for being that presence in my life. That presence is in this physical form, and the way we hold it and care for it. As you go into this year, I invite you to choose something to study for you. Something that you're never going to preach about. And then don't be surprised if it comes up, because I thought for sure that kayaking would never be anything I would be able to preach about. But you know what? Kayaking brought me lots of important lessons. Choose something for you this year. Play guitar, take a watercolor class, whatever it is, take a Kriya class, learn how to sing, learn something that is for you, that you can do as a hobby, but you can put a little study time in so that you feel like you're gifting and growing yourself for yourself rather than for the community. What would you like to grow? And it can be a book. So one of the practices that I've been giving people is for the 12 days of Christmas. So December 25th is the first of 12 days from Christmas to Epiphany, right? All the way through to the 6th of December. So that on that 12 days, take 1 minute, 2 minutes, put your hand on your heart and say, what is the word that will guide me into the next year? And whatever the first word is that pops in your mind, write it down. Write it down 1 through 12. 1 is trust, 2 is beloved, 3 is Cracker Jacks, 4 is whatever the first word is. And then attach that word to a month. The first month is January, the second month is February and March, so on and so forth. Each month, do a little journaling on that, whatever that subject is. Notice why it's coming up for you. For you, not for your congregation, not for your mom, not for your kids, not for anybody except you. Trust the first word because it may not make sense right now, and it might make sense 3 months from now when the word is actually related to your life situation. But it's a really sweet way to give Spirit a point of entry into your life right now for the next year. And to just take that word with you each month and see what it brings you for yourself. Pray without an agenda. We have so many agendas. We're praying for our congregation. We're praying for our church building. We're praying for the people who are sick. We're praying for all the things. A moment in your morning that is a prayer can always be gratitude. But just to ask yourself, what is my prayer for today? My prayer for me. What do I hold energetically? What consciousness am I giving this day? To really make the space for your own prayer without predicting or feeling obligation is a powerful, powerful way to pray. Read something this year that delights you, that is not for speaking about. Maybe it's your favorite science fiction. Or, I'm looking at you, Brendan, thinking, well, you could read the biography of a heavy metal guy, right? Whatever it is, find something that you can read for yourself that's light and easy, and you can pick it up when you have time and want to read it. And find beauty for beauty's sake. Just go walk through your neighborhood looking for beauty. Walk through your life with your eyes open for beauty. Let it be a blessing as it kisses your eyes. Let it come into you. Let it thrill your heart in that gentle, easy way that is just the magnificence of joy that comes when it's unexpected. When you just open yourself to find beauty in your life, things are different. These are nourishing moments that help you to do your job better when you're doing your job, but also help you to love living, which is a really, really important reason for being here. If you can do this in your schedule, choose one day that will be a lighter day. For me, it was always Friday. I don't schedule appointments on Friday. That doesn't mean I won't see anybody. Sometimes people walk in. But my Friday is a light day. I don't schedule appointments that day. They're not on my calendar. I have the day blocked out. If I need to catch up on mail, I can do that. If I need to send a card to somebody, I can do that. But it's a light day that gives me freedom to do some of the things I don't normally get to. We talked about a ritual or practice that marks the end of your day. And to have time for check-ins on that day. Is there somebody you want to call? For you. Again, for you. A friend. I just had somebody tell me the other day that her sister is not doing well, and the last 3 days have been slammed. And I woke up this morning feeling really bad that I haven't had a chance to call her. I will make that happen today. Those kinds of things you can catch up on when you make one day light and give yourself some spaciousness, and to plan some time of rest rather than only take emergency rest when you're exhausted. To really give yourself space for true rest, easy rest. Don't do anything rest. So as you go into your year, I invite you to care for yourself with the same sincerity and steadiness that you offer the people that you serve. To truly be self-serving in that way. I offer you days of restoration. Rest is about restoration. It's about restoring yourself. We think of rest as, I'm just going to stop. Sometimes rest is not stopping. Sometimes rest is having time with a friend. Sometimes rest is going to a comedy show or a concert and laughing or enjoying music. Sometimes what is restorative is stretching into a new area. But rest is an abbreviation of restoration. And it's important to remember that when you think about, I need some rest. The following question needs to be, what will restore me right now? Is it sleep? Is it water? Is it sitting on my front porch? Is it a walk with a friend? What will restore me to myself, to feeling like myself? I really invite you to be held by the sacred this year, to understand that you are not doing this work alone, that you are always held in the heart of the holy, that your work is beautiful, powerful, important work in the world, important in a way today that none of us could have imagined, and that we're being asked to rise to a new level of service, that restoration becomes more important as we are asked to rise into this time. And to also give yourself permission to be joyful and happy, because the world doesn't feel that way and your community can't necessarily access it. But if you are having a joyful, beautiful day, a joyful, beautiful week, a joyful, beautiful month, let your presence reflect that. Be the presence of that joy and allow that to be what is true and authentic for you in what you're doing. It is always for me a tremendous, tremendous blessing to be in this space with you, to be of service, to just see your beautiful faces and remember the impact that happens because of the people who are here. So I really want to honor what you've done in 2025 and want you to know that I hold you on my own altar and in space for the work that you do going into 2026. Our 2026 Business Mastermind is going to be themed for the year around innovation. What is innovation really? It is time for us to do church differently, and we've been saying that for years, but how do we actually move into an innovative way of doing things? What kind of innovative ideas are ahead of us? And what is innovation anyway? What is that besides just thinking a different way? What is the energy of innovation? What is the embodiment of innovation? So I hope I'll be seeing you in December as we step into that time. And between now and then, I hope that your holiday season is blessed and amazing and full of restoration. And I'll see you soon. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye.
Such good timing. Really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad.
Be well.
You too.